In 1985, originally released in a varied arcade format, was Timegale. The game was that of a full-motion feature that progressed through on-screen available choices that the player can choose to progress through the story with. The plot of the game was that in the year 3001, the villain of Ludar steals a time-traveling device with the intentions of changing events in the past. By the time the game takes place during, interdimensional travel is possible. The main character of the game, being that of Reika, is pursuing Luda with her own time-traveling device. She pursued him during the depending scenario. Choices could either confront it or avoid it. Selecting the right choices allows the player to continue through the story, or into another period in time. Selecting the wrong choice would have disastrous results, as eventually Reika stops Luda and saves time through circumstances depicted within the game. At the time of its release, it was relatively popular, and the design of Reika as a character were similar in features to well-known manga characters of Lum and Yuri, who were also well known within the early to mid-1980s in terms of character designs. At the time, due to technology constraints, Timegale wasn't released outside Japan. Reasons now known were due to a decline in Laserdisc games, which Timegale was used for the technology of, and the price to mass produce the game using laserdiscs, which declined in popularity during the mid-1980s, as well as the cost or localities of translating the game into different languages. Eventually, the game was ported to consoles, and once it was put onto different gaming outlets, the game was reacted to positively. Through the years, it was put onto new consoles, even going into the early to mid-1990s. As eventually, it was released within the United States with a modified musical opening theme, but certain death-related scenes were censored in the original American releases. Reactions to the game were actually mixed from critics at the time. While some believed that the game was released at the end of the Laserdisc's popularity, and that the whole concept of it was not appealing to consumers, while others believed that the animation depicted within the game was actually very nice to look at, as well as an original concept when playing the game and choosing between the different choices provided. With everything considered, analysts and critics considered that the game was something of a record of the times in Japanese video games. Reika was one of the first female heroines in video games due to the technology being new at the time, as the character had appeared in further media owing to her legacy as a character from the 1980s. Sometimes a character can be forgotten because they were remembered, but partly due to technology advances, as well as being forgotten with the passing of time.